Hello, I'm Roll, and welcome to Speaking of Everything. Well, my guest for the first time I'm speaking of everything, but his mother's been here many, many, many times before, so it's an honor to have Mr. Farley Elshot. How you doing, sir?
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Oral Gibbs. Thank you very much again. Quite an honor to be here on your show. Something that I've never fathomed that could have happened, but we are here today.
It's good to have you in the program. Your mother, she's a remarkable, intelligent lady, huh?
Yes, that's my mother. As everyone would know her as Claire. And yes, she's been many years with the Windward Island Teachers Union, and also as a school teacher and as a remedial teacher. So yeah, I mean...
And she's a fighter for the workers, man. I can see where you get that fighting spirit from.
Yeah, well, pretty much, The funny thing is, my birth, my existence, my birth is part of the cause also of why she actually got into the union.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just to give a quick little story, because when she was expecting me, she was still in Curacao teaching. And... when she went on maternity leave, apparently when she came back, there was some issues with the school board, the ERCA school bestuur, and I think they had shortchanged her on her check for maternity leave. I think they gave her like 300 guilders or something like that, and she's like, no, but this baby need to get formula, diapers, whatever,
Right.
So long story short, me, Farley Elshot being born, I could pretty much take part of that credit of my mom being into the union, and also the rest eventually come from her own personal nature, so I can't rob that spotlight from her. But I was pretty much the catalyst of, why she decided to get into the teachers union for better representation, especially for cases of like maternity leave, like what she had to go through.
Well, no, she's going to go down in the history of St. Martin as a fighter for the people, man.
I definitely do hope so. As my mother would say, give me my flowers when I'm alive, not when I'm dead. So, so give her a recognition as long as she's around,
Definitely.
So that's my take.
So you ran as number 8 on the OMC party list, right?
Yes, that is correct.
OMC stands for?
Oualichi Movement for Change. Oualichi Movement for Change. First it was Swaliga Movement for Change, but then we saw another party came out with their name, Swaliga Action Movement. So a change was made. We changed it to Oualichi Movement for Change.
And so what did your mother say, or your friends, when they saw that you would join in the OMC party?
Well, it's, let me put it like this. I would call it like a confetti, like a potpourri, It's a whole marble. It's like a whole bowl of marbles, different color marbles, So every person has their reaction, their opinion. It's coming from my mom herself. My mom has always been in the union and not in politics, albeit several times she was approached by various different people to run on a list. My mother has always declined, hence why you have never seen her name on no ballot sheet.
Oh, okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
So because of the fact that my mom is fully aware that if you make that transition from unionism to politics, your thumb becomes a bit restricted. So my mom likes that that freedom, that leeway that she has with unionism, which is why she stayed there for almost 20 years, 16, 17 years to be exact. So
over 20 years, man.
Yeah.
But OMC party, the leader, Olivier Arrindell, I've had him many, many, many times here in this program. In fact, I interviewed him way back in the early 2000s.
Correct.
And I'm sure he came to you and asked you to join the party, or you approached. How did that work?
Okay, Mr. Oral, I know this guy from small.
Oh, okay.
When I say I know this guy from small, we grew up in Colby together. This is literally pre-Hurricane Lewis days. So we're talking about 89, 90, 91, 92 come up.
The small guys there.
Yeah. So I know Olivier from a very long time.
Okay.
He had his past growing up, as a boy with a mother raising him, with no father there. And, at one point, his issues became to a point that for his own betterment, Miss Alma that used to teach by William Alexander School, Miss Alma from Middle Region, along with my mom herself, and I believe one more person, I don't know who, but they all came to the conclusion like, hey, we got to do something with this young boy, you know? So they sent him to Geoge, and even when he was in Geoge, Curacao, and I was going to Radolphus College, I was doing my HAVO, I met up with him a couple of times. I used to take breaks and go over by Stuyvesant and meet up with him.
He could come out on leave from...
Yeah, he had his days, you know, that we would meet up, whether we meet up by the school, you know, we chasing girls, you know, things that 17, 18, 19-year-olds would do, you know. So I knew him very, very well. And the last time that I physically was in the Dominican Republic, I was invited by his house. You know, his wife Sabine was also there. That's the first time I actually met her, like, you know, personally. She even had offered me a little taste of a Haitian rum. You know, you come to some people's house, you know, they offer you, you know. I'm not really a rum person, but hey, out of politeness, out of, you know, I just take a little shot, you know. And we were there, so since November 2022, Mr. Arrindell is telling me, Farley, I got something big coming for St. Martin. Wait, you're going to see, I got something big coming for St. Martin. Everything is time. So, okay, we sit and wait. Then 9 months after that I left, so in 2023, he tells me, he starts with his videos, with his exposing of the different things that's happening with the corruption.
That started like with July of 2023, somewhere there. Right?
Yeah, somewhere around that time. So because it's around that time.
Because I had him here in June, actually. And after that show, I started seeing all these videos coming out from him.
Correct. So basically, Olivier had this in the pipelines for many years. I believe from the time his first attempt with DLP, I believe from then is when he said, you know what, I'm going to pull away maybe from the politics, but I'm going to work in the background on...
For people who don't know DLP, that was the other political party that he was a member of.
Yes, Democratic Labour Party. If I'm correct, that was the name of the slate. When he had came out that first time, I believe he had gotten like 20 votes. That was the first time. And now with this recent, he got like 346. So you see a big step there. But... the thing is, when the video started to come out, then we had cases, court cases, you know, appeal of cases, because you see, one thing that happens here in St. Martin is a huge wave of misinformation. A huge wave of misinformation that is carried and supported by melee and gossip, you know? So, and that's one of the things that I find very sad, you know? And when these things started happening, then is when he called me. He was in the Dominican Republic. I can't really remember the date. But he called me, said, Farley, I'm putting a party together. You in or you out? This was just a 30-second conversation, Mr. Gibbs. No longer than 30 seconds. I told him straight up.
That's all they gave.
I said, count me in. I never even chose the number. I never asked for this number. I never even said, I want to be number 2. I want to be number 12. I never asked for nothing. The call came to me. I responded to the call. Whatever scientific reasons was made to give me the number 8, I accept that, because guess what? If you're looking technically to grab 8 seats, if you want to put me as the last, as this is save the best for last. So I didn't object my number placing, because the number placing is still makes a difference, but only when you have, as they would say, residual seats, so residual votes. Right. So for me, I was like, look, they could have put me to the bottom of the list for my part. My job is to pull in votes.
You were satisfied with what you got at the polls?
Of course. I'm gonna be honest with you. I still am of the view and opinion that some of these results are not accurate, because I've done some analysis of the last election numbers in January versus this election, and my 10 votes is 10 votes, and I'm very, very happy that I received those votes, and I would also like to take the opportunity to thank all of those individuals that took their time, whether it's from their work or getting up out of their house to go to the polling station, to do the right choice, and to drop your ballot and to give me that support. So I congratulate those people. And again, those are, the way how I see it is 10 people, including myself, because I had to vote for myself. I know a lot of people don't do that, but...
there was a time when the guy got 0 all over. He didn't even vote for his own self. That's a few years back.
I don't keep track of those things because, you know, the only thing for me, there was one funny moment. I ain't gonna lie. There was one funny moment. I believe it was at the old home where OMC, nobody did poll votes. So everybody was 0, 0. So every time when I hearing the zeros, I just had to laugh. Even with my name, I just laugh because I check it like, but wait, nobody went to vote by the old home, but eventually we saw what they did. But anyhow, so
what they did?
I think everybody went. They gave Madam Westcott Williams the support, you know. So I guess they was more comfortable with her, you know. So
did anybody ask you for money during the campaigning?
I can be honest with you, you know. I've had 2 people that come to me and tell me what I can do for them or what I got for them. You know why I answer them? I say, if you elect me and put me in parliament, this is what I plan to do. No, but what you going to do for me? What you got for me? If you elect me, this is... So I just stay on my course.
They want something now.
I know what they want, but I'm not acknowledging it. I'm just staying focused on what I have to offer. You know, and this is also something that I come to realize, that many voters in St. Martin do not really care about the issues that is going on. And this is very sad because you know why? All they will care about is for a temporary patch. $100, $200, $300. I even heard that some votes went as high as $600.
Wow.
Yes, but again, this is the street stalking. But the streets. We don't get...
Right.
I could probably say that OMC didn't spend $1. OMC didn't spend not $1 in terms of putting up billboards on the side of the road, printing banners, or even to our shirts. From what I understood, they was given as a gift, as a donation from an anonymous person. You know, so as a donation and as a gift, so meaning to say, whether we had gotten results or not, we do not owe that person any favors. You know, because these are a lot of things that people don't question. People say, but how come I ain't got no billboard signs on the side of the road? How come I ain't got no this, that? I say, what you need to ask those same parties that are putting it out, who is funding them?
But Mr.
Where are they getting the money from? Yeah. That's what they need to ask. We don't need to do what others are doing, because without doing what others are doing, on paper, we got over 520-something votes without spending $1.
And that was a good showing.
I personally think so. And this is why, if you had seen my Facebook posts also, right after election, before any agreement was signed, I already call a spade, and I already tell who end up in opposition, who we sent home. Because some people want to say that, oh, you couldn't have sent 5 parliamentarians home. What happened to the SAM party? I say, yes, I will acknowledge that the SAM party did take some votes from the other parties as well too. But one factor people need to remember, the last election in January had a slightly higher turnout than this one. So even with less people coming out to vote, we still managed to get over 500 votes. And those votes did not drop out of the sky. Those are over 500 people that believe in our philosophy, not manifesto, because a manifesto can change. A philosophy remains embedded, ingrained in stone, okay? And those same 500 people also believe that St. Martin can be where we envision it to be.
But you know, you come from a very big family.
Yes, that is correct.
Family that is also in the elites.
Yeah. Right
down to
the average small man, to the average Joe like myself. That's correct.
So, and what did they say to you?
Mixed. It's very mixed. I have some family that told me straight up, they say, boy, Farley, I would have voted for you, you know, but boy, you're there with Olivier. Look, One thing I learned in life.
But they're honest. They're honest. So honest.
And I appreciate their honesty. But to me, you have to be honest all the way. So this is why when I hear people say this phrase about, let me be honest with you. When I hear people talk that, I start to watch and listen. Okay? Because so then if you saying that, then that means at this particular moment, you are making the choice to be honest with me.
Say, trust me.
Do you understand? Right. So again, when people come to me with that statement, whether it's family or not, again, I respect everybody's view. I respect everybody's opinion. But does that mean that I have to agree with what you are saying? I don't have to agree because nobody forced me to do this.
Yeah.
Nobody motivated me or coerced me to do this. Mr. Gibbs, twice in my life, I have already given up on St. Martin. Twice. And you see, I'm back here and I'm still here and I haven't given up. So that alone should tell people, you know, when I left to go to work in Bonaire and eventually in Sabre, that was one of the times where I felt that, hey, I done with St. Martin. The corruption is so mind-blowing that even sitting in Bonaire, I am sensing it. I am still exposed to the corruption that is happening in St. Martin. The only thing I wasn't missing from St. Martin was sitting in traffic for over an hour without moving anywhere because in Bonaire you ain't had no traffic. Sabre, you ain't got no traffic.
Yeah, let me just remind my audience, this is, speaking of everything, my guest is Mr. Elshot. Mr. Elshot ran as the number 8 candidate on the OMC party list. The party was led by Mr. Olivier Arrindell, and it was quite a controversial party, would you say, Mr. Elshot?
Yes, very, very, very controversial.
Anti-establishment?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, because that's what I myself said in one of my videos. We are the new kids. We are the new kids on the block going up against the old establishment. And again, if I was to compare the days, for example, of the good old Dr. Claude Watty compared to now, you will understand exactly what our issue and concern is. You know, again, we do not have nothing against people. What we do not agree with is that not everyone gets the same opportunities. Now, again, how do you go about establishing a system where you can create equality for everyone? You know what I say? The first place you start is by creating prosperity in every single household. Because most of our issues start at home. Basic social issues. Right. Up to yesterday, I driving and I saying to myself, what happened to the local science fairs that they used to have back in the days? You know, you would have different schools would do their science fairs, and then each school would have their group representing, and then I've been missing out on a couple of things that, you know, normally would happen in the past. The point is the youths need something to keep them busy, keep their minds creative, you know. Hey, we can go about and discuss about these youths, for example, that are on the road with their motorcycles doing stunts, you know. I see the danger in some of the stuff that they do, but I also see the excitement, the thrill that they get out of it, because I'm also a motorcycle rider myself, you know. I mean, so the thing is, I see that there's a lot of talent here in St. Martin.
You know, it comes when you're young too, because when I look back on life as a young boy, and I look back at what I used to do riding bikes, I can't believe it. Yeah. It was crazy, man. Yeah. So when you're young, you know, life is different.
That's right. But the thing is, I still find that a lot of this potential is not being recognized or tapped into.
So you felt that OMC was the party that could make that transformation?
Mr. Gibbs, I'll be very, very honest with you. I've been following politics for almost 30 years here in St. Martin. Okay? I live in the neighborhood of Colby. And I know of at least 2 politicians that live in Colby.
One
that still is in politics today. And what have they done for Colby? Look at the old Leonard Connor School. That school only functions when it's election time. And if I'm correct, that property is also part of the monument funds. Meaning to say that they have to preserve it.
Exactly.
That's how we all preserve it. Once every 4 years, cut down all of the Corralita bush to clear it up for elections. And then when elections done, I finish, come, boom, gate lock again. There's a basketball court there that nobody can't use. I mean, what's going on?
Yeah. Let me ask you, because I've heard that some of the members of OMC submitted their resignation to the party leader. I have not seen any of those resignation letters. Is it true?
Yes, that is true. That is true. And people need to understand, just like how it's your democratic right to join a party, it is also your democratic right to leave. Okay?
But you haven't.
No, I'm still there. As you can see, I'm proudly wearing my shirt. I'm proudly wearing my shirt, even though I'm here in an interview in an enclosed space. But I'm proudly wearing my shirt with no fear, with no regrets. Okay? And again, I don't know how the conversation went between Olivier and those candidates, whether he approached them or they approached him prior to joining the party. I already discussed how my own went, a 30-minute conversation. Again, I know Olivier for many, 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 many years. And even though many, many years, I haven't had any contact with him because he was busy building up himself. A couple times he even tried to get me into those things. I was like, Olivier, you keep pushing. You keep pushing, my brother. I'm good here in St. Martin. I'm going to do my thing. You know?
Yeah.
I always show him that love and respect, you know? And that's what I'm saying. I don't know what expectations the other candidates have, because some of them maybe felt that it would have been something good for them, or I don't know. I don't know what their expectations was, but either way, at one point, you're going to feel like, hey, this is no longer for me. And if that's how they felt, so be it. They did what was expected in terms of tendering their resignation.
But you stay with the party.
Exactly.
Right.
I told Olivier basically that as long as we are standing behind of the OMC philosophy, I will stand by his side.
Okay.
So as long as there's no changes in the course of direction of where we want to reach, I will stand by his side.
All right, this is Speaking of Everything. I'm All Gibbs. I'm with Mr. Farley. Mr. Farley is the number 8 candidate on the OMC party list. Facebook, YouTube, and Hot 99.9 FM radio is where this program is being carried, and we appreciate you watching and listening to us. Mr. Farley, you know, the shooting and that led to the death of Sabine, Mr. Olivier's partner. How was your reaction to what was your reaction?
You know, this is a good thing that you're asking me this question, because I don't know if you are aware of the whole circumstances. I work for myself. I have my own company, but I also do delivery. I also do food delivery. I do delivery for KFC. And I do delivery for SXM to go, which is like the Uber Eats of St. Martin. Okay, so if you know how Uber Eats works in the States, pretty much is almost the same thing, or like the same thing. And on that Wednesday evening, I was, you know, I normally work and then I take my break somewhere between 6 and 7, but that day was so hectic that I ended up taking my break a little later than that. And by the time I finished my break, when I was leaving the house, I saw my scooter there, and then I saw the vehicle there, the white Jeep. I was like, for some reason, I just grabbed the key for the Jeep and I left the scooter and I decided to go with the Jeep. You know, the night was a bit quiet. I did a delivery in Point Blanche, and then I came back down to Simpson Bay to pick up an order from McDonald's that I had to carry to Sapphire Beach Club, which is literally a stone's throw away of where the shooting, at the same spot of where the shooting took place. Now, when I was communicating with the customer who I had to deliver to, I was in McDonald's, and I left McDonald's literally at 9:22 p.m. on that same night. Okay? Driving on the airport stretch, pass. As I start to enter Maho, after crossing the roundabout and passing the small speed bump, and then you had the larger speed bump there for the pedestrian crossing at Maho, just in front of La Terrace and Royal Islander. As I am approaching there, I am seeing a dark blue tinted vehicle approaching into Maho, speeding, driving erratically. So I'm like, what's going on? So I just pulled briefly aside to the side of the road because I don't know if this person is going to come plowing straight through to continue get out of Maho or what other move they was going to make. So I just stayed where I was. And then I saw the car swing in to the lobby area by Sonesta Maho after you make the bend there by Three Amigos next to the escalators.
For time, we can't go the whole detail about it.
You know, and I see Olivier jump out of the vehicle and he had on a shirt like this, like mine's too. And I see him like making gestures and yelling because I'm in my vehicle. So I'm like, but what's going on here? And I start to cover my face. I'm like, oh no, what's going on here? When I behold and I saw the whole flank, the right side of him with blood, then is when I say to myself, whoa, this don't look right. I say, I hope he didn't get stabbed or shot. And then I start to think about his wife because I'm not seeing her, I'm seeing him.
And she's always with him, right?
Exactly. So that's the first thing that come to my mind. So I was faced with a very heavy decision, Mr. Gibbs, because two things I had to consider. I had to consider basically my job, okay, because I have someone's food that I need to deliver. So I said to myself, okay, what do I do? Do I continue going to Sapphire Beach Club and pretend that I didn't see what I just saw there, as gruesome as shocking that I could see, and before my mind starts to carry me places? What do I do? Do I continue going, pretend like I didn't see? Or do I do the right thing and come and see what's going on? So I had to do the latter. I made the swing around by the casino, came around, I parked, and as I came outside yelling with my hands. I said, Olivier, what's going on here? You know? And then it's when he watched me say, Farley, they shoot at me to kill my wife. Tears in the eyes. And Olivier is a man that I don't see crying easy like that. And I stood right there next to him. So when I turned to the side and I looked into the vehicle, there I see Miss Sabine lying lifeless, slumped to the side, blood all over her face, her hair in a kind of mess, even though her glasses were still properly put on her face. But the way how she lied there, and I took a good look at her for at least 6 to 8 seconds, I didn't see no movement. Neither from the chest, neither from the neck. I didn't see no movement.
Was she shot in the face, head, or?
Well, eventually from what the forensic report showed, and basically from the evidence from the photos of the car, the first shot that got fired hit into the B pillar of the door. And when that bullet hit into that metal, based on the caliber of weapon that was used, it pierced through the metal. That's a Toyota Corolla. You know, I'm not going to say, you know, that it's strong metal, but, you know, it's not the best of the best neither. So, and at that close range, it's definitely going to pierce through. So the metal pierced through the B-pillar frame of the door, through the B-pillar frame of the carrosserie of the car itself. Took a little travel to the side, and it caught her behind her neck, because obviously from the time the first shot was fired, or maybe when they saw that he was going to fire, out of fright or out of reaction, she maybe turned to it like that. So when that bullet catch her in the back of her head, now it came out through the front of her face.
Cornea.
All right? And then passed and grazed Olivier on his chest. So you see that mark that Olivier is carrying on his chest? That came from the same bullet that killed his wife. All right? Something that this man is going to have to live with for the rest of his life. And yet, you have a group of people out there that want to claim to say it was a political stunt gone wrong, because not too long before that happened, Trump got shot in America.
Yeah.
So they're trying to say that he's trying to be like Donald Trump, which I find is sickening. You know, public opinion is something that you have to respect, but some opinion out there is just too sickening to even mention, because if you mention it, it's like you're giving them that acknowledgement and energy. So I'm not even going to go into some of the comments that I've read. You know, so, you know, because it's just mind-blowing. And to all those people, I would question them, had that situation touched home to you? Because everybody say, oh, he shouldn't have been there with his wife and children. You all don't know what's going on. You all don't know how they're campaigning. You all don't know that everywhere he goes, she is there with him.
Yeah.
You know, and some places that he has to go, she can't go with him. but the lady is here on vacation in St. Martin. People need to understand, this lady is a foreigner that had love for this island and wanted to do great things for this island. Okay, she even had a special place in her heart for the community of Dutch Quarter. Okay, and the ideas already that I heard she discussed of what she wanted to do for this little island, and to see that someone or a group of people put money down for this job to get done, a job that isn't completed as yet. Okay, it's sad. It's very sad.
It haven't been completed as yet.
Because the job was to kill Olivier Arrindell.
Do you think they will still follow through on that, or that?
Well, I believe one of the purposes why the prosecutor had asked for protection for Olivier was for the same reason, that maybe they might continue with the attempt.
But you know that the alleged gunman, right, also is in a way related to you.
Yes, I know that, but not because in a way that he's related to me. What does that have to do with me, myself, and I?
To know that
that's all I could say.
How this island so small,
yeah,
and how everyone is so connected, and a lot of people will not understand that, or they'll be surprised.
I'm also related to members of the elites that's been collecting millions of guilders from off of Enya. Okay, I don't need to call names, because if you know who all the protagonists are in this Enya saga, then you will know who I'm speaking about. But I never benefit from none of those things.
So were you shocked and said, "Look, I'm here supporting OMC. I'm a number 8 candidate, and the alleged gunman is related to me"?
Well, you know, that's the shocking part. But you know what? You know what the thing is? The alleged gunman just didn't get up and decide to go shoot after Olivier Arrindell. The alleged gunman had to be motivated. The alleged gunman had to be coerced or motivated. And one source of motivation for things like this to happen is money. It's plain and simple. So we already know who's the man behind the trigger. We want to know who's the man or the woman or the persons that put that money down. That's what we want to know, and they need to be brought to justice too. Okay? Helman Wills was a politician. He was not vying to become a politician. Helman Wills got murdered. You see, years later, they found out who was the trigger man, and then afterwards, they even found out who was the person that funded it, Mr. Jamaluddin, which is now behind bars. Okay? So everything takes time, you know. Okay? If they don't want to bring it out now, we're going to sit and wait. And one thing I can tell you, I know Olivier, again, I know Olivier very well, and you see, from since the day he lost his wife, Olivier gone silent. And for me, that's like, because I don't know what to expect.
I have to go to a break.
Yeah.
But after I come back from that break, I also have a voice note, a voice message from Mr. Olivier Arrindell I'd like to also share with you and my audience, all right?
Sure.
So we're going to come right back in case you've just joined us. I'm Earl Gibbs. This is Speaking of Everything. My guest is Mr. Elshot, number 8 candidate on the OMC party list. Facebook, YouTube, and Hot 99.9 FM radio is where this show is aired. So you're either watching or listening to us on Hot 99.9 FM radio. And as quick as we come back, we will have everything ready. I'm just trying to make sure that we have everything lined up, and that everything is lined up. We're going to be right back right here on Hot 99.9 FM radio, Facebook, and YouTube with Mr. Farley. Please do. Farley Elshot. Please do.
That's correct.
And you're watching or you're listening to Speaking of Everything on Hot 99.9 FM radio or on Facebook and YouTube. My guest, you've seen him there, is Mr. Farley Elshot, number 8 candidate on the OMC party list. And you're one of the few that have not resigned from the party, right?
Yeah, I'm still here.
And many did resign, or just a few?
Well, so far from what I know of, only four
okay.
candidates, you know. So if I'm correct, that means we are down to 15 candidates right now. But again, I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything else besides the first 4 that left.
Okay.
And that's it. Everybody give their reason. We respect that. We move on. We continue.
You know, Mr. Olivier Arrindell used to put out a lot of WhatsApp video messages, etc. And so the late Salim did the same thing.
Correct.
And there was a voice note, a message that came out just recently. I think it was around the 10th of or the 8th of September. I don't recall. And the reason why I want to share that with you,
correct,
and then get your response is what we do. I took the voice note, put this picture to it so my television audience can see the person that I was talking.
Yeah,
all right, so
yeah.
I'm going to play that now, Mr. Farley, and then we come back to you and then hear what you have to say. All right?
No problem.
Okay.
Good morning, St. Martin. I know many of you would like to know where I'm at. I'm someplace in the world, someplace where it allows me to keep my composure, someplace far, someplace close. At the end of the day, I want to ask everyone that is frustrated, please do not use violence. Don't be like the government. Stay calm. Stay vigilant. The persons who have paid for the demise of myself and has taken the beloved Sabine out of our life, they will pay in the spiritual form. They will pay in the emotional form. It cannot stay forever in the dark. I ask you to stay vigilant and remember, as long as this continue to haunt the country, whereby the indigenous people, those who was born in the land, never can get an opportunity, where those who is of the land can never get an opportunity, where the electoral system is so corrupt and so devastating, where a man that got more votes than most in parliament today cannot serve the righteousness of what he started for. The fight against corruption now is in your hands, my dear people. Me, I'm going to be taking a step back, monitoring from a far distance. And upon your call, that's when we're going to resurface back. Until then, remember, no violence.
All right, so there you have it, your party leader. It seems like he's thrown in the towel. Is that accurate to say?
Well, look, speculation is something that human nature. It's something that can control most of us. But if you listen carefully, he says he's asking everybody to stay calm.
Right.
The reason why is because there's many people out there that is upset with this event. Many people have even come to me and asked me, yo, what Olivier going to do about this? And I was like, hey, easy. We at OMC never a day instigated violence towards anyone, albeit they were accusing us. But I don't think that when you speak about the truth, that's called instigating violence. I don't think if you're exposing corruption, that's instigating violence. Okay? But when you want to send an attack on a person that is trying to free his country, that is trying to look after the same people, that is in the same boat as him, meaning to say born St. Martiners, and you try, you know what my question is, Mr. Gibbs? You know what my question is? Had this attempt been successful, whether it's Olivier alone die, or Olivier, his wife, his daughter, and Lawrence Lake, who also is a cousin of mine as well too. Because another side of my family maybe that you are not aware of is from the Lakes from Anguilla. I am a descendant of the Lakes and Niles family from Anguilla. Lakes them from East End. As my great-grandmother Titania Lake, affectionately we call her Tai Tai Lake, who passed away in New York a few years ago. I was even fortunate to visit her in New York in 2018 by surprise. I never even told her I was coming, okay, because I was in Florida. And I had to deliver a Siberian Husky for someone in Long Island. So I took the trip. They brought the dog from Alabama to Central Florida, and then from there, we drove straight up. You know, first time I did this, me behind the wheel, drive over 1,000 miles.
Long drive, huh?
Yes, sir. The GPS said we would have did it in 22 hours. I think I did it in 18 or 19 hours. So, you know, certain areas I had to be pressing.
They never pull you over those stations?
Nah, I got the radar. We got Waze, we got radar, you know. So, you know, when you pass through that state, what it called? Virginia.
Yeah.
You gotta watch out for those speed traps, especially those aircraft above. So we pass you clean. The point is, had this attempt been successful, and Olivier out, Sabine out, Lawrence Lake, my other cousin, out, and the young girl Sarah out, what would have been the message that would have been sent throughout the community? That's my question. Had that attempt been successful, what would have been the message? Oh, you talk, you expose corruption, we snuff you? Is that what you're trying to say? Look, this whole attempt on the 17th of July will go down in history as an open attack on political discourse and freedom of expression. I don't care how anybody feels about it, but that's my personal opinion.
This way, Mr. Elshot.
Yeah.
It's not the first time.
Correct.
Okay? We are known for silencing those that are not in the same line with us.
Yeah.
All right? I can tell you because there have been times in my life and my family, so I know that. I wasn't always this cool guy you see here.
Yeah.
I was really bringing things that the establishment didn't like.
Yeah.
And at the same time,
Yeah.
we have a radio station now, 99.9 FM.
Correct.
Okay? It took me over 22, 23 years to get that license when other people who were not qualified, didn't have the background,
That's right.
got it. So you're speaking to a guy who's been there, done that, and fought the establishment and still
preaching to the choir.
So it didn't happen. This is not the first time.
Yeah.
The first time that's been partially successful.
Okay. Now, what I can say, Mr. Gibbs, is I am aware of your struggle of your 20 plus years of getting your radio station, which again, before the interview, we spoke about it. And now during the interview, I'm going to speak it again. I congratulate you on that, because it takes a special breed of person to have that kind of guts and to have that kind of persistency to not give up, to not throw in the towel. So you asked me a question there just now about the voice note, and you ask if that's throwing in the towel. I would openly and adamantly tell you, hell no. You know, and again, I didn't walk in your shoes. Olivier didn't walk into your shoes. The same way, you didn't walk in Olivier's shoes, and I didn't walk in his shoes. And you didn't walk in my shoes, and Olivier didn't walk in my shoes, okay? If you stand for what you believe in, it's like you're the nail that stands above the rest. And when you are the nail that stands above the rest, what happens? You are the first to get hammered down. That's an old Japanese saying. The nail that stands above the rest is the first to get hammered down. Because the higher the nail protrudes, with one swing, if you get it right, you drive it in one swing. When it's done in already, you got to work it in. You understand? So, again, and now that attempt was not successful, okay, they still follow through with rigging the elections, because I'm going to maintain that the elections is rigged. First time ever in history. Why are we encountering so many dummy ballots inside of the bins? How they got there? And I'm not interested in whatever explanation Grisha Heilige Martin give, because that explanation is just a cloud, it's just a smoke screen. As a matter of fact, since you could have given an elaborate explanation, I think you should be pulled in for questioning too. You know, because how you could share details like that, how you know that people got to switch this and who got to do what. I sat down and I listened to it, and all I did was laugh, because I was like, yo, even to somebody in kindergarten could see that what you're doing there, be careful it doesn't even backfire.
I didn't hear what you what she said, so I can't comment on it.
I think you should take at least 10 minutes of your time and check that out. All I could say is, Mr. Oral Gibbs, one of the main reasons why I also choose to run with OMC is because me personally, I'm sick and tired of the attack on we the intellectuals. Okay, I just found an article the other day about GB. An article in 2014 where GB had to give reports of how they're going to make their transition towards clean and renewable energy. All right? Look at where we are today, still taking out loans for big, gigantic generators. I ain't hearing nobody talking about hydro or hydrothermal energy or solar energy. All we're doing is sticking to fuel.
You know what's causing that, right?
Pretty much. The satisfying and fulfillment of a monopoly, of contracts and of a monopoly. It's plain and simple. This is why when I go to buy gas, I choose where I go to buy gas. And if I choose to go French side, I don't think nobody could stop me. If I choose to go French side to buy premium gas at Cadisco, that's my choice.
You have children, Mr. Farley?
Not as yet, no. I have 2 nephews, though. My sister has 2 sons. I have 2 nephews. I love them as if they're my children, even though they're not. But, I'm pretty much a father figure to them most of the time.
I'm going to tell you something that I didn't know when I was a young man. But when you have children and you are as outspoken as you are,
correct,
and the way I used to be, because I'm a little more cooler right now,
correct.
Your children pay a price for it. I have 3 daughters.
Yeah.
One is an attorney, one is a medical doctor, and one is a psychologist. I say that all the time, out of pride.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people in St. Martin, number one, underestimated me.
Yeah.
And thought, because I'm in this business, I'm a dummy. And I tell people that a banana tree don't grow oranges, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And what I'm getting at here, if you are the kind of person you are and you have children, they're going to pay their price for your outspokenness, for your decision to stand up for them and still remain standing and supporting a political party that the establishment definitely despises.
Well, Destiny has made it so far that...
And my second daughter name is Destiny, by the way.
Oh, gosh. Well, not making a connotation towards her, but talking about the meaning itself of Destiny.
I was just pulling you leg.
No, but that's good, interesting fact. It goes to show you how mind-blowing things can be. One thing I've learned about Destiny is every person has a calling. Every person has a calling, okay? Yes, I do agree with what you say, that, in cases like that, your children are going to pay the price and all of that. These are all things that I've calculated. You see, politics to me is not like playing draft, it's playing chess. And you see sometimes how long one chessboard game can last, if you understand what I'm saying, So the main thing for me is setting a prime example for people to understand the value of democracy. Okay? I speak several different languages, and you know what? Something that just blew my mind the other day there. If you take different words and translate them into other languages, phonetically, in every other language, it's going to sound different. You know which word phonetically sounds the same in almost every single language? Is the word democracy. Check it out. Democracy in English is democracy. In Dutch, democratie. In Spanish, la democracia. Okay? In Portuguese, democracia. In Italian, democrazia. So, phonetically, democracy is one word, one of the very few words, okay, that if you translate it in any other language, it sounds pretty much closely the same. It's just you write it different, or the sharpness of your syllables change. But phonetically speaking, it sounds the same. So that alone should tell you something, and also should make you value that word and what it means and what it stands for. Democracy is very simple. Let the people rule. Okay?
So go ahead.
So the main thing is, we are in a democratic system where we think the people rule, but it's only around election time. Because why? Our system is based on the proportionality system, as they would say in Dutch, evenredigheidsstelsel, which is with seats. You know? So hence why you can see some persons right now on different parties become parliamentarians with way less than what the quota is per seat. You know? While if we had, you know, when people talk about political reform, this is what I want to hear. I want to hear moving away from the proportionality system to the constituency system, where your number of votes actually speak and not seats, and then dispersed by who has the next highest amount in order. So it's like a lottery system.
That's been discussed for many years.
Yeah, but nobody does it.
That's normal. You know?
That's what we want to change. You know, democracy is very, very sacred, and that's what we stand for. We stand for the protection and enhancement of democracy.
And you know, earlier I told you about me, and I told you, ask you if you had children.
Yeah.
Be careful, because what will happen to them, I see it happening to my children who are highly educated.
Correct.
All of them with advanced degrees.
Correct.
From Leiden University, and my daughter who's a medical doctor, passed with honors.
Yeah.
So, but let's come back to St. Martin now, where the establishment and those that support it will try to destroy you or destroy your children.
Exactly.
What surprised me was when Mr. Olivier Arrindell made comments to certain individuals on this island that he will go after them if he couldn't get after the children. That kind of shocked me, because I know what has been done to me as a St. Martin who stood up and fought for St. Martin, and I couldn't understand why he would publicly say that. Because, you know, they all think about it on this island, but he was the first person to really publicly say, I'm going to go after your children. That surprised me.
Well, you know, Olivier said it because he knew why he said it. I'm not saying that I'm going to agree 100% with what he said. You need to understand one thing, right? Sometimes you have to do things in an unorthodox manner to get your message across, okay? I'm gonna be blunt about it. The only difference with how Olivier said it versus how the establishment has been practicing it is very simple. Olivier is giving them the warning. The establishment don't give you no warning, they just come after you. Did they give him a warning on the 17th of July? No, they came after him. They used a systematic way of writing him, sending him text messages, which I don't know if you have received them, but he has shared them. And I can even go right now and start to read some of them out for you.
That's okay. That's all right.
And again, if I was to read this out for you, you yourself would ask yourself, but was the person who pulled the trigger?
But look for one and read
all
it.
of this? Yeah, of course. This is not going to take...
No, I think because my audience will say to me, hey, we want to hear at least one. So if you can find one, I appreciate it.
Olivier already shared all of this already, but I am not. We are here speaking of everything, right? Yeah, so that's what we're here for.
The longest running television program in the history of the Dutch Caribbean, not just in the
That's right. That's right.
Hey, I may be wrong at that one. You never know. Maybe Crusoe have one that's longer, right? You never know.
Yep. Okay. Here's the message. Yeah. Let me show it to the.
Just read it off quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good morning, Mr. Arrindell. I have been entrusted with a task to contact you in private to deliver you some files given to me by a senior staff that works at the Philipsburg Courthouse who wish to expose the level of corruption within the justice system but would like to remain anonymous. Files that contain names of police inspectors / chiefs, kingdom detectives, politicians, foreign investors, and local businessmen. The nature of investigations, bribery, payoffs, the amount paid to silence investigations, wiretaps, and then ... continuing. If you are interested in obtaining these files, I will arrange to meet with you at a location where it is safe for me to deliver them to you. All right? This is messages that was sent to Mr. Arrindell at around 11 in the morning while he was at Cost-U-Less campaigning with his wife, with his child, and with his candidate, okay? Because it's election time, we campaigning. And like I said, we was campaigning in a more engaged manner. And so we were not using billboard. We're not billboard politicians.
You're all face to face.
Exactly. We want to talk to you face to face. Because I see one particular party putting up pictures of these politicians, but when you look at all the faces, all of them look like they was Photoshop or photo edit. When you see them in real life, they don't look the same.
So that message you just read there.
Yeah.
Do you all know who sent it?
Well, the number was there. The information was given to the French authorities. It's a WhatsApp number. And you know, with WhatsApp, you can put up a status or a name. Right. The only name that we see there is a name by the name of Patricia. As you can see, the number is 588-5048. Patricia with 2 hearts and a little cherry on the side. Okay?
Yeah.
So the investigators have all of that information, and that information has been made public already. So
the shooting came after that message because you went to pick up the document.
Yeah, so this is how it continues. The person says, please do not call this number, WhatsApp only. So you see why the stress, do not call that number direct, WhatsApp only. Because if they call the number direct, it can be traced. You understand? WhatsApp is encrypted. Okay? Now, no phone calls connection should be established between our phone numbers. So you see, this person already is setting the tone for them to not have no type of way to create a connection. Okay? At least that's what I thought. Yeah, certainly an investigation will be initiated to determine who was the individuals that leaked those files to you when you go public. Please, I trust you will honor my request and keep our contact confidential. Okay? Mr. Arrindell replies at 11:43 a.m. Bring them at Cost-U-Less. I'll be there. I want them. Set it up. Where you want to meet. We'll be moving soon to another location. Okay? Almost 10 to 2, the person answers back, I am at work right now. I live Belvedere. The person even went as far as saying where they live, Belvedere. It's written right here. We didn't say it. The person said it. Okay? I set up a location, or I will set up a location close to Belvedere. Okay, no problem. And do you know where that location was initially? As you come up the border, when you pass Belvedere by the monuments, okay, that little abandoned village that God knows what they don't know what to do with it, which I still see there's potential there too. But long story short, as you come up the border, there's the first property on your right-hand side, and then there's the alley by the stone pillars, the stone columns, where normally the gendarmes or the police municipal would park. Well, it was in that alley, but going all the way in the backyard, in the back there. There's where they initially had to meet up. Okay? Now again, you see, going back to my question from earlier, had this attempt been successful, had my leader not had the right judgment and decided to go where they initially proposed, and had that killing been successful, do you know what that means? That means that would have been an investigation for the French authorities, which right now it still is. Okay? But it would have been purely a French investigation because of the fact that it happened on French soil, and the Dutch would not have no involvement. So guess what? Everybody could continue with their lives like as if, oh, that's not we problem, that's a French side problem.
But it shouldn't take place on the Dutch side.
Yes, but initially it was proposed to happen on the French side. This is what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. So had my leader not used the right judgment and went French Quarter, and had it taken place in French Quarter, God forbid, had it had taken place in French Quarter instead of Dunkupakoy, which is still close to the French border, it would have been a whole different thing still. Because why? Because the Dutch would not be involved anymore.
But do people say, why is the alleged gunman detained on the French side and remain detained there and not being transferred to the Dutch side?
Mr. Oral Gibbs, you don't have to be a criminal. You don't need to be part of the criminal underworld to figure this out, right? If you pay somebody to do something, because that person had to get paid to do it. This person didn't do it to do a favor. Even though you have people out there that making videos that saying that the streets would have done it for free, those same people need to watch themselves, because if that was in the United States of America, I think you know already, a district attorney would have sent to hold them and have them questioned. You understand? Whether you feel it's an infringement on your freedom of speech or not, you need to be careful what you say. You know? The main thing is, had it had taken place over there, it would have been a whole different outcome. No.
Positive or negative?
Well, I don't know how to say it, but the main thing is, from what I would say is, again, it all boils down to jurisdiction. It all boils down to jurisdiction. Now, these are certain elements that people need to understand. Sabine was born in Puerto Rico. What does that make her? A U.S. citizen, right? If she's born in Puerto Rico, she's a U.S. citizen. Sabine has a U.S. passport. Olivier even showed this to everybody, even though he blocked certain information, but he proved that to everybody. Doesn't matter that she comes from Haitian descent. She is born in Puerto Rico. That's a born American. So a born American was murdered. Okay? And she was a tourist too because she was not a resident here. Okay? Doesn't matter if she's there with Olivier and Olivier running in politics. We have to look at it from the bigger picture. Because if people think that this thing didn't hit regional or national or global news, believe you me, you'll be surprised. You would be very, very, very surprised. You know? So again, what the main thing that is happening right now is that a person was paid to do a job. The job didn't went the way it was initially planned. So it's two things going to happen. It's either someone is going to coerce that person to finish the job, or the same person that coerced that person to finish the job is going to look to eliminate that person because why? They fear that he might talk. Do you understand where I'm going at? So long story short, I personally feel that the suspect right now, wherever he's detained, whether he's in Guadeloupe, France, wherever he is, that he is slightly cooperating. But I don't think they want to hand him over to the Dutch authorities, because if he gets in the hands of the Dutch side, all he needs to do is either go Point Blanche or somewhere and they take care of him. They oust him. Because why? Like I said, we need to bring to justice who are the people or who is the individual that put this job down to get done. We already have the man that was behind the job. They already have him.
But it's still alleged, right?
You know? No, I don't think so. Because when you do, when you
in this business, we always use the word alleged until there's a court case and a verdict.
I think with all of the forensic evidence that the authorities on the French side have,
maybe you could do this more.
Yeah, I think with all of the forensic evidence that they have, that alone should speak why he is still being detained. You know, so there's certain detail. I know this is speaking of everything, but again, bear in mind, Mr. Gibbs, there's still an investigation ongoing. A person lost their life, so I still have to show a lot of respect for that. You know, and sad thing is to see here in St. Martin, before people actually condone the act and attempt on Olivier's life, where his wife lost hers, but they rather choose to blame him and come with all kind of stories about voodoo and sacrificial ritual and all kind of crazy allegations. And, you know, again, people have the freedom of speech, people have the freedom of expression. Just like how you all are expressing your all opinions and statements, which I find is ludicrous, Olivier was doing the same, but he got shot at. Nobody is shooting at you for you saying what you got to say. Nobody is shooting at you though. But people try to shoot at Olivier for saying what he had to say. That's my problem. That's my biggest problem. You know, it's sad. It's infuriating. It's beyond hypocritical. You know, it is just sad. It is just sad. I'm not saying that because his wife got murdered that he had to win outright. Maybe it could have happened like that too. Mandela effect. You never know. But the point is, for you to not even show mercy to the fact that something like that happened, but you rather condone the man or blame the man for that happening, I find that's very unjust, because, again, everybody's entitled. That's why I keep saying, again, the events of 17th of July will go down in history as a direct attack on political discourse, freedom of speech, and freedom of expression.
Well, Mr. Elshot,
That's how I see it, Mr. Gibbs.
I have a minute remaining. It's all yours in closing.
Yeah.
Yes. Anything you like to say?
Well, what I could say is, it was a wild and unique experience for me, being a first-time candidate running in the parliamentary elections. Very, very wild, because even to the point when I was looking at Sabine lifeless in that car that night, I said to myself, boy, this politics thing getting really dirty. Like how we locals would say, boy, this thing getting really dirty now. Or you snuff somebody out, or you try to take out a man, or you injured my cousin, and it is ridiculous because, like you said, I come from a big family. So it's, I don't even know where to start and how to end. But all I can say is...
How's cousin Lawrence Lake doing now?
Well, I haven't spoken to Lawrence in a few weeks. Be honest with you, I haven't reached out to him in a few weeks. But being the positive nature person that I am, I will take that Lawrence is doing fine. Lawrence has the full support of Olivier and myself. So meaning to say that, hey, if whether Lawrence get 100 votes or 1 vote, we can't tell this man nothing. The man has a moral pass.
Sorry
Okay.
to interrupt you there, but I wanted to find out how he was doing. So continue your.
Yeah. He was doing good. Otherwise, with the incident itself, but afterwards, Lawrence pretty much was taking it one day at a time. Again, I can't speak for him.
Understand.
But
So
that's
closing-
what I can say.
Right, so 30 more seconds you have to close off what you want to say.
Well, what I want to say is, again, the people of St. Martin, we see what is going on here in the country. We find it very shocking and alarming and disturbing. And another thing also that has me puzzled too is to see all of the noise and hype that was coming from both sides, whether it's from the OMC side and the other parties. And then since after the incident, everybody gone silent, especially from the other ends, everybody just gone silent. One moment they just was focusing on this security detail and protection. And then afterwards, nothing else you hear about the incident. So there's a lot of things for me that, from my experience, I will not say it is surprising, but it is still kind of hard for me to digest and really question, is there really democracy here in this nation? Do we really have a choice, or do we just have to wing it and go with what these people put on the plate for us?
Do you fear for your life, seeing that you're so closely connected to them?
I'm going to be honest with you, Mr. Gibbs. I'm a person, I do not consider myself untouchable, because anything could happen to anybody. But I do not traverse the roads in fear, because I am a working man. I have my job to do, okay? And destiny is something that we do not have no shape or control over, okay? I don't fear for my life unless I put my own life in danger. Okay, which hey, riding a bike on the road already is a risk, and also depends how you ride yourself.
You're a member of the OMC and you're outspoken.
Well, I'm a member of the OMC. I'm outspoken. At the end of the day, what I can say is I do not bring no violence to nobody. I am not an aggressor. I am a defender. So again, you see, Olivier spoke his stuff. I never see Olivier bring no violence to nobody, but on the 17th of July, violence was brought against him.
Well, I want to thank you for coming, and still be careful, watch your back.
Always, Mr. Gibbs, always, definitely, always. Thank you very much for your support and for your time. People of St. Martin and the viewers, again, because I know you have viewers all over the world, so I can't single out the people of St. Martin. So wherever you guys are, United States, Europe, Latin America, wherever you may find yourself, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching.
Again, thank you. Much success. All right?
Thank you.
And that's it for now. Speaking of everything, on Facebook, YouTube, and on Hot 99.9 FM radio. See you next time. Take care. Bye.